and answer time again. Does somebody have a question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Greg, recently you talked about tag timing. Could you elaborate on that for us?
Tag timing. Yeah, another term I coined. Wow, many years ago, I was doing a Parade of Stars for the SAG fund. And me and Michael Davis did a vaudeville show at the Palace Theater in New York City, and lots of stars there. I got a picture with George Burns, chatted with him, and Milton Berle was there, and I chatted with him and stuff. And Milton Berle would get up on stage, and he would go, he'd do one of, those toothy grin he had, and he'd do one of his jokes, and the audience we'd all laugh, and then as it would peak, he'd go, 2, 3, 4. My mother-in-law. He'd go into the next joke. Right now, wow, there's this weird. He's actually counting the timing of the laugh peaking and starting to drop off that peak. 1, 2, 3, and then talking again. He wasn't doing it at the peak or before the peak. He was doing it just after the peak. Boom. He had and I realized, wow, so I call that classic timing for jokes, like one-liner jokes. That's classic timing. Peak, 2, 3, 4, start your next setup. Well, as I started watching Richard Pryor and Jerry Seinfeld and Gary Shandling and all the other people that were tag monsters, they do a lot of tags in their shows. I started watching them going, wait, they're not doing that. They're not waiting for the downfall. They're actually doing something completely different. If you listen to a big laugh, a really big laugh, it'll go, ha, ha, ha. Audience kind of breathes together after that burst, and then they go, ha, 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 and it'll peak. 2, 3, 4, come in with the next setup. What tag timing, what I noticed they were doing was, the audience, they do their joke, right? And the audience would go, ha, ha, ha. As they inhaled in, they put the tag there. And then the audience would go, ha, 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 ha. And when the audience is breathing in, they're breathing out and this breathing thing that went on and built into this rhythm. So I started doing it. I started, when I was working Chippendales, Renaissance fairs, even the Comedy Store when I was paid regular there for that, I'd have pieces, and I just started experimenting with it. Doing the tags and learning, and the audience learned how to hold their breath after you do it a bunch of times. They'll actually go, because one time I wanted to know if I could do that. I got 5 or 6 tags, and I did the 5th tag, and the audience went, ha, ha, ha. And then they all laughed because they realized I'd got them to hold their breath. But they actually will hold the breath. They learn how to fit into that tag timing, and that's how you get almost like continuous laughter. Ha, 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 ha. Keep bumping that laugh up. Bump, 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 bump. And you see, but it has to be in the proper rhythm with the audience. There was one comedian I worked with who had been doing stand-up for 13 years, and I saw him lose an audience, and he came to me and said, what went wrong? I said, in the first half, you had that rhythm of listening to them and moving with them, and then the second half, you did the timing that you've kind of become accustomed to doing, and it was a little out of sync with that audience's reactions. So you lost them. And so we worked with him, and so he started listening to audiences. He had what I call a bad bar habit. He was so used to just going and going and going and going and going, he stopped listening for that rhythm. And when he found that rhythm, his work just took off like crazy. And he hasn't been back. He was studied with me quite a while. Hasn't been back because he hasn't stopped working. His career just took off. Tag timing is maybe one of the most powerful things. You have to write tags, and then you have to perform them and hone them and learn how to get into that breathing rhythm with the audience. And first of all, always being aware that they're breathing like that. They can get them to unify them as a laughing force.